Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how exactly do aspects work in astrology, especially Vedic astrology, because this is a Vedic astrology birth chart. As you see, that's a Scorpio ascendant, which is the first house, and if you go counterclockwise are all the other houses where other signs are rising. So in the second house, Sagittarius is rising, third house Capricorn is rising, fourth house as you see is Aquarius rising, where Jupiter is at 6 degrees Aquarius. Fifth house is Pisces, and if you just go all the way to Mars is the 10th house, where the Leo sign is rising, and Mars is there at the 17th degree, and each of these houses are 30 degrees long. Okay, and the 12th house you see there is a Libra rising in there. So let's look at the aspects. So Mars, okay, let's give aspects are like flashlight. You know, you take a flashlight and you look at something in front of you or on your side. So let's give Mars a flashlight. So here we have Mars with a flashlight. Okay, and Mars flashlight is looking directly to the opposite side. And let's light that flashlight up. So here is Mars is aspect. Mars is looking at directly to the fourth house, which is Aquarius, and that flashlight that you see, okay, that is the actual light that Mars is throwing off. It's not lighting up the entire fourth house, it is lighting up the portion of the fourth house, okay, and that portion of the house is about 5 degrees, okay. So that portion that you see is about 5 degrees. So in the 5 degrees of the 30 degrees is where really Mars is very strong. Okay. And then you have Jupiter at 6 degrees. So what is happening here, if you see that Jupiter is getting a very light aspect of Mars. Jupiter is getting a slight faint of Mars because Jupiter is at 6 degrees. Mars is at 17 degrees, okay, and so this is probably about 11 degrees of separation. Okay, it says 11 degrees separation between them, so it's not a very hard aspect. The light is not there, okay, but let's do this. Let's change Jupiter's degrees and let's increase it. So let's bring Jupiter at 13 degrees. So Jupiter is now at 13 degrees Aquarius. Now you see how Jupiter is getting a bit more light of Mars, meaning a bit more aspect of Mars. So now Mars is able to influence Jupiter. Mars is throwing off its energy towards Jupiter. So Jupiter is getting a little bit of it still. It's not that much, and it's just a little bit. But let's change that. Let's bring Jupiter to exactly 17 degrees of itself, okay? Now you see Jupiter's totally getting the exact aspect of Mars. So 17 degrees Jupiter and 17 degrees Mars, Mars is directly throwing its energy off of Jupiter, meaning this is a very close aspect. This is an exact aspect. And remember, Jupiter itself is also looking at Mars, okay, but let's come back first. Let's come back to the 14th degree, and if you see here in the 14th degree, Jupiter is also now looking at Mars a little bit, because look, Jupiter is also looking at Mars and Mars is looking at Jupiter. So in this mutual aspect, the light is not exact on each other. The flashlight is mostly below Mars, as you see, okay? But a lot of it is still getting to Mars. So Jupiter is influencing Mars, and Mars is influencing Jupiter. And this is called a mutual aspect. And this is how an aspect works in general. This is how pretty much a basic aspect works. You know, whether, let's say if we do an experiment, let's say we bring Jupiter to 1 degree, okay, we'll bring Jupiter to 1 degree Aquarius, and we'll bring Mars to about now if you see how this is working, Jupiter is at 1 degrees Aquarius, Mars is at 29 degrees Aquarius. That means they're not looking at each other at all. They're really far apart in looking at each other. Jupiter's light is somewhere else, totally away from Mars. Mars's light is away from Jupiter. Okay, but if they were within 5 degrees of each other, okay, so let's say if we bring it back to where Jupiter was at, let's say 14 degrees, and Mars was at 17 degrees. Now you see they're throwing the light on each other. And this scenario can be applied to any planet in any house, okay? And if you know that Mars and looks at the 4th, 7th, and 8th place from itself, okay? So Mars is looking at the 4th, the ascendant, the 7th place, which is the 4th house, and 8th place, which is the 5th house, Pisces. And so Mars is looking at each house with 17 degrees. So it's only looking at that 5-degree portion of the 17th degree in the ascendant, in Aquarius, and in the 5th house. Okay? So guys, I hope this kind of gave a little bit of clue as to how aspects work. Remember Saturn, if Saturn is looking at Moon, it works the same way. If Moon is looking at Mercury in certain degrees from the 7th place, it works in the same way. I'm just using Mars and Jupiter as an example, but I can use any planet, especially for the mutual aspect, the 7th aspect, which every planet has. Okay, so I hope this helped. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know more about astrology and how it really works and how you can find more about yourself, check out my link below. Check out my articles there, my book, Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you a link to look at your own charts and look at your own, study your own aspects and conjunctions. All right, thank you.